Mike Gill. Promised you a new video. Calling this one Gotcha. Gotcha for a reason. Now let's go over what I promised you. Shocking new information. If you're not shocked by this, nothing's going to shock you. Eyewitness to the frauds throughout the state courts, not just New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Pennsylvania, all the way to the Supreme Court. Multiple judges are involved in the fraud that is being committed. All right, let's start. I'm going to take you back. We're going to play detective together. Just a few minutes. But let's see if we can catch a whole state, multiple states, with senators, judges, completely and totally corrupt, and running a cover-up in all these states of their crimes. Let's talk to one of them. He tried to talk to me. He tried to give me the evidence. I tried to have him come forwards. Let's go back to those text messages, because the answers we've been looking for have been here. The ability to break this wide open, send the corrupt to jail. They'll be talking about this forever. Are you watching HBO? Ready? I'm going to give you a show here. Let's go back to the text messages. I know something you don't know. Very, very valuable. He's damn straight. Ready? Leverage. You know who uses the word leverage? Lawyers. I can prove you were right about Alan Pincus and Ray Pollock. Now you've heard this before, you just haven't heard the answers. Because I'm still trying to figure them all out. But I have. Pincus and Ray Pollock. Why is a lawyer know these individuals? From horse racing. Pincus is my attorney who was going after the commission and the jockeys, which I wanted him to go after Penn National. He kept on fighting me about doing that. And Ray Pollock. Didn't I just have a video just over a week ago where I called Ray Pollock the PR for the cover-up? He was covering up their crimes and was attacking me. I even asserted that he was a crack user. And you were believing this guy. Did he say anything? Did he deny anything that I'm saying? I dare you to. But he didn't, now did he? There's a reason for that. And this is the texter, as he points these two guys out. He's saying, I can show you legal documents about your divorce that you have never seen. What if I said, right along my wife's medical records were destroyed, the whole thing? Pictures of you, and ranging from Walker. Let's not forget, Alex Walker was the president of Divine Millimat. He was the puppet master in this. He was helping them cover up the Ponzi scheme, FRM. Oh, by the way, which is in the state Senate now, looking to get voted on. Now you tell me, how's that possible? It was a Ponzi scheme. They had their money stolen. Remember? Now, not too long ago, you couldn't even spell FRM. And now it's in the Senate to be voted on. You know why? It wasn't the money giving these people back that was the problem. It was the reason why you had to give it back. It was the corruption of the state. Jeanne Shaheen, the governor then, Hildreth, the Banking Commission, Ayotte, the cover-up team. This is what I'm talking about, and that's what's being voted on. We're not done, because there was a wealth of information here. It was just for us to grab. So that's who Walker is. And then he goes on, pictures of your wife Sarah, to Lisa T. To the attorneys that represented her and Jim. You know who those attorneys were? Shaheen and Gordon. Remember I told you they extorted her, her 3 children, her husband got charged with child molestation. He's off. Guilty as hell, but he's off. Now how is that? Shaheen represents him. Guess who represented some of the people, most of the people from FRM? You know, the defense attorney, go out and get him. It was Bill Shaheen. It was even to their surprise as a group. And here he is again, saving Lisa Tracy. Can you say extortion? Because I can. And I've got another case coming up of extortion. That's what it is. Why do you think this person knew that? What if I could give you pictures and files and documents secretly have of you? What if I told you they had tapes that I could give you? They have your schedule. They have a mole in your business. As I text you now. What if I can tell you who it is and I can prove it and it's big? Well, let me see. So they're saying they have all these tapes of me. Now why would you have that? Because I'm going after you. They got to bury me. They got to shut me up. Listen, you see me year after year, month after month, week after week. And I keep telling you similar things and discovering and rolling back more and more information. We only have to go back to our last video, right? In our last video, bad luck. Didn't I call out immigration and said they were paying people and bribing them? Turns out the feds last week had 5 arrests. Legal aliens. Central Pennsylvania. Right. Can you say Penn National? Lucky guess. Oh, as long as we're being lucky. David Wells, race fixing. Didn't I say it? Remember the guy who called the strike with all the jockeys? That's him. Well, he just admitted to race fixing and he's going to be sentenced next month. Let's go back to him for a second because I got a surprise. So, back to the text messages. We have a mole. Interesting. Let's find out who the mole is, right? And then he goes on, people get shipped out of town all the time, and you never hear from them again. Let me see, remember Darla Sedgwick, who was willing to come forward? She gets shipped out of town. We can't find her with a search warrant. Hey, how about Banking Commissioner Hildreth? He gets shipped out of town. Some one-bedroom apartment in Kansas City. This guy's right. He's got some insight here. Don't talk on your phone. They have you taped. Well, let's go from there. They've got me taped. So he's concerned about his life. They're saying I'm taped and pictures the whole thing. Well, you'd be interested to know that I just got something from attorney Matt Murphy. You remember Russell, who I said was a spy? Well, he sent me a question. Miss Michaud is believed to have information regarding a secret taping system set up by Mike Gill. Wait a minute. Allegedly. Are you trying to say, Mr. Murphy, that I'm bugging the people bugging me? Could that be? Because we know you're bugging me. But yet you have information, allegedly, that you're bugged. Now, what could I hear on my own attorneys? Could it be that they're telling me that Shaheen does run the state? Could it tell me and say the Supreme Court of New Hampshire is corrupt? In fact, they own 3 judges, allegedly. And that everything I'm saying in the courts with McHugh being fixed, the whole thing, is right. Could I be listening to Pincus talk to, ready? Here's the guy, Ted Little, my first attorney that worked for me. The scapegoat. We'll get back to scapegoats and why they're useful. Could you be listening to Pincus and knew the plan in Pennsylvania and the corruption there? And how you guys both had to stop me from my investigation in the state of New Hampshire and the corruption of Penn National. Now, if you were talking to Ted Little and say you gave him immunity, you'd find that out now, wouldn't you? And maybe the only reason why I'm alive still is you think I have those tapes. And if I wind up dead, that those tapes might go out to the public. Which is maybe why I had a break-in here a couple weeks ago. Yeah, they went in through the side door. The only problem is the security camera we had on that door was unplugged. Now it turns out you can only plug it if you go down into the basement, into the security system. Now the only way you go down there is knowing a code. Now who could have a code? You know, I have an IT guy named Dan Lynette. He's got a code. He knows about the security system too. And he would have been the only one that could have pulled that plug out. At the same time, we get broken into. Now what were you boys looking for? Those tapes? The secret tapes? Allegedly. Is that what you were looking for? You're damn straight you were looking for those now, weren't you? Right. So Dan Lynette, let's go back. You have a mole. You have a rat in your company. Dan Lynette's the guy who's been shooting these videos. How's that for a rat? Right. These guys don't make many mistakes. Let's keep going on. So Ted Little is the writer of these texts. He is my attorney who was working with Jutras, who was working with Pincus, Jutras the divorce attorney, who was working with Walker. This guy has them all. We give him immunity. We take a senator down. We take 2 senators down. We start working our way into Massachusetts. The people of Pennsylvania, how you know the government which you're having there is corrupt. They know it. Why do you have an AG that's been told to shut up? I got a little news that they're not too happy with you down there with the FBI and their investigation. Are they? Nor should they be. You were only going to cover up the guilty. So let's go back to Wells. Is Wells the guy you're going to use as the guinea pig, which Wells said he was? Trust me, this guy doesn't run this operation. He's a half-wit. But could they use him as someone who gives them all up? Could be. He could do that. Or is he someone that takes the bullet? Castle thinks he's a guinea pig. Why do you think I get it? The commissioner for racing. He thinks they're going to blame him. And you're right, Jeff. By the way, we haven't heard from him since. You remember back the Assistant Attorney General, Richard Head. Gives me his notes on FRM just as they're voting for him. Not a guinea pig. See, I'm the place where guinea pigs go to die. Or try to stay alive. Which is why I got this text from Ted. He's the guinea pig, right? Remember Ted? He's the guy leaving with the suitcases with all the information. Let's not forget him. And I do believe he's afraid for his children. And he should be. Let's go. Then he goes, I can prove that you have a rat. The ball's in your court. The rat was Lynette. He's the biggest one yet. Then I said, I already caught Lisa Tracy. Maybe you didn't get the memo. And I know how they leveraged her. Remember with her 3 little girls? These are the people who own Shaheen and Gordon and married to Jean Shaheen, would say, for instance, if she was on the tape talking about leverage and how they can get away with this, well, let's keep going on. Allegedly. I've already told you you had a bigger one. I know that the lawyer that I have, that I put on a video already. Amy Miller, remember? That's her right here. Guess what? 13 attempts to serve her, to no avail. 5 different names she gave us. Can't find her. The address? Well, that's not her. Well, that's who he's talking about in here. And then I said, he can prove it. She's doing, in fact, she's doing the video. I'm doing a video. And I just outed Lisa. He knew that before I did the video. And then I go that I'm having her file a RICO complaint with John Friedman. He knew the date. She's been working it all week. She'll have it done by midweek. There was only 4 people in that meeting. Dan Lynette was one of them. Miller wasn't. They were exactly right. That was him telling me, I know right now, and he did. Sorry, I should have listened more. And then when we go on about going to the authorities, and what did he tell you? The criminals are the authorities of New Hampshire. He was working for them. He's now coming to me because someone's going down. Because the fact that we got FRM in there, the fact that the commissioner, Jeff Castle's coming forward, shit's hitting the fan. They're covering their bases. But that's what it means. Could stop his heart in a moment. He's trying to get his kids on a plane. Does that sound like a guy who's not afraid of the people that I'm telling you about? He's afraid of them killing his children. So here we are. You see what's happening in Pennsylvania. You see what Penn National has done. You see that I've got Castle and Richard Head and Ted Little. These are the guys coming forwards. They're not here to help us. They're here to save their asses. They know they're coming down. Right? They threw out Divine Millimat from the Superior Court. Wiggins and Norrie. Wiggins and Norrie for $50 that I was supposed to pay for the defense. Listen. It's thrown out by one judge. Ready? Supreme Court. Carol Ann Conboy. You're going to love this. She just happened to have been the partner of McLean. You know, the people who represented me in this, the people who we sued in this. Can you say conflict of interest? She just happened to be on both. Kicked one out for $50. Really now, Carol, shame on you. Then I, allegedly, heard that the Supreme Court in New Hampshire was corrupt. Now, isn't that so? Isn't that what I've been saying this whole time? Horse racing ran a cover-up. Right? So let's find out. Is David Wells the end or the beginning? If it's an end, we got one hell of a cover-up. If it's the beginning, we're going to be entertained beyond your imagination. And if we follow Ted Little, we're going to get them. We're also going to get a couple of senators, an attorney general, a U.S. attorney who's in on the scam of New Hampshire, all of New Hampshire, Massachusetts. We've got a court in Lawrence, completely corrupt, was grabbing evidence, took all my evidence, then dismissed the case. Federal Judge Sobel, big joke. I mean, it's all corrupt. I'm not missing anything. All it has to do is be reviewed. Now, how would you like to change everything? You know how you're trained? You're trained to say, well, we know it's corrupt, but what are you going to do about it? There's the evil in this. Not only are they doing it, they got you trained to accept it. Not me. Ted Little immunity. You hearing, FBI? Now, I did give you this. You just got some people in immigration, and we know there's a lot more now, don't we? Glad to help. Now, wouldn't you want to catch a Ponzi scheme? Wouldn't you like to catch a couple of corrupt senators and corrupt courts in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts? They just allowed this casino, you know, from the people of organized crime who protected this Ponzi scheme and was part of it, remember? I gave you their names already. Now, wouldn't you want to stop this criminality in the state of Massachusetts before it starts? And we know it's going to start in New Hampshire. Any day now, Rockingham Park, you're going to read that it gets sold. In fact, as long as we're talking about getting sold, now this is just a rumor. Did Penn National in Pennsylvania get sold recently? You know, to cover our asses? I'm only asking a question. Anybody got the answer? Because I got a feeling. Okay, it's up to us. It's up to us to go to Washington. I have. I'm sending out 6,000 more packages. I'm telling you everything is true. Or I wouldn't be here now, would I? Let's see if you were a reasonable thinking person. Could I be saying what I'm saying if it wasn't true? Are they afraid that it's just insight? Or it's a little insight and a little information. Allegedly. Thank you.